All right, so I've been getting a lot of questions about how we read sharps and flats in sheet music. So we're going to talk about a few different ways that sharps and flats can occur when we're reading music. So let's jump into it. So here we have a pretty advanced Mozart sonata, and let's take a look. So at the beginning of the song, you have something called a key signature. That will always be written right here after your clef signs. Now, we can see in this case, there's two sharp signs, two written in the treble clef, two written in the bass. These are referring to very specific notes. It's basically letting you know that this song is using a certain scale. In this case, it's in the key of D major. The key of D major contains two sharps. Those two sharps are F, and we can tell because if we actually look where the sharp sign's written, this one is written on the top line of the staff, which is the note F. So this is telling us there's an F sharp, and then this one here on the third space is C. So that there's an F sharp and a C sharp. And your treble clef and your bass clef will always match. These are also the notes F there on that fourth line and C there on that second space. So because we are in the key of D major, uses those two sharps F and C, they are writing the key signature here, letting you know that anytime you come across the note F or C anywhere in the piece, so like here we have an F, another F there, I'm not going to go through every one, lots of Fs here. Every time you have an F or a C, like we have here and there and so on, you're going to play them as sharps. You're not going to play them as the natural F and C. You're going to play all your Fs and Cs as sharp because it's part of the key signature. So that's one way that music will tell you when to play sharps. So they're not going to put a sharp sign in front of every F and every C. It's written at the beginning of the song in the key signature, so it's baked into the song. So every F and C you come across anywhere on the staff, not just on this line in this space or this line in this space. It could be anywhere on the staff ledger lines. If it's an F or a C, it will always be a sharp. The only time that's not true is when you come across what's called a natural sign, which we can see one right here, written right before your note C. That is letting you know that for this measure only, this specific C is going to cancel, this natural sign here is going to cancel out our sharp, so this C will be played as a C natural. Natural signs that occur within measures, also sharp signs, which we'll take a look at in a second, as well as flats, they only occur for that measure only. So once we get to the end of this measure here, your C will go back to being a sharp. They write the sharp sign in there as a kind of like a courtesy to remind you that even though you played a C natural there, we're just reminding you that C sharp is part of the key signature, so don't forget to sharp it again. So that one's a courtesy, but even if they did not write the sharp symbol there, that C should still be a C sharp. The only reason it wouldn't is if they had put another natural sign. So the only way to cancel out a sharp is by putting a natural sign like we see here on these Fs and things like that, right? So natural signs will cancel out any sharps from the key signature or from a certain measure. Here we can see flat signs. So these are telling you that for this measure only, here's a good example, these two Bs will be B flats. And once again, any sharp signs or natural signs that are not part of the key signature only last for that measure. So within this measure, we'll see those same two notes right there. Those are those same two Bs. Because it's part of the same measure and they've already flatted them, these Bs will also be played as flats. They're not going to write it again. I'm just doing it here to show you that they won't rewrite it, but these Bs will also be flats because it is in the same measure. Once we finish this measure, those flat signs are done. So if you come across another B, it's back to just a regular B natural. Okay? Same goes for sharp signs in a measure. If you see a sharp sign like we do here, right? Here's a G sharp because we've switched to treble clef. That any G within this measure, which there are no more, would be played as G sharps. So that is how sharps and flats occur in songs. They can either be in the key signature, which tells you from the beginning of the song, all of those, whatever notes are in the key signature are going to be sharped or flatted the entire time unless a natural sign occurs, or when we see what we call accidentals, sharps or flats that are used outside of the key signature. Here's another good example. They sharp the D here, and then at the end of the measure, they natural it because they want to cancel it. They don't want this one to be a D sharp. If they didn't write that natural sign, you would have assumed the D sharp lasts for the entire measure. So that is how sharps and flat signs work in sheet music. Hopefully you were able to learn a good amount about this idea. If you have any other questions about reading music, music theory, just drop a comment below and let me know what other concepts you want me to cover.